My, what beautiful horse.
Whoa!
Die! Quick! Die! Quick! Go! Go! God! Go! Quick! Laudetur Jesus Christus! Here is
Me?
the one I have been summoning! Exorciso!
Sorry, but I'm quite sure I'm not who you're expecting. You're confusing me with someone else.
You can't hide from me, you monstrum infernium mundum! Now you shall reveal what you withheld from me last time!
I don't think I owe you anything.
So, you want to play chess again? You treacherous Draco Nefande Spiritus Mendax?
Unfortunately, Latin doesn't mean much to me.
Ah, but you understand it. You can't deny it, you shaitan al-shari.
That's not helping.
Are you here to ridicule me, or are we going to play? Last time you didn't beat around the bush. Non te excusa, sedage.
I'm off. So, Vade and Pace and, how does it go now? Oh yeah, that's it. In nomine Jesu Christi.
What are you saying? That's the last thing I would expect from you. Ja! Ja!
Whoa!
Mutt! Here you go. Take it. Here, Mutt. Aye, aye, you silly doggy. Sit. Stay.
shouldn't be walking around by yourself. Awful things happen here.
God bless, good sir.
God bless. It's just you.
You're not permitted to be here. Give up! Have it your way then. I'll beat you into submission.
The offer of Hermes Trismegistos. That's Krazel's document.
Gotcha, fella.
Someone's broken into my house. I'm sure he wants...
I surrender! Enough!
Felt like doing a bit of robbery, did you? Snooping around on other people's property like that. For now, you'll pay a fine. But if you find out there's any...
Look, can you keep a secret?
What are you talking about? What secret?
Look, we're both men, aren't we?
Where are you going with this? You're testing my patience.
It's like this. Yesterday, I met this pretty girl. She makes yarn. And you know what they say about girls who work with spinning wheels?
No. What?
They're really good in bed.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, this yarn spinner, she was very afraid her mother would find out we planned on meeting. So she gives me these complicated directions on where to meet her. At high noon, I stood at the shadow of the tallest linden tree, and step by step, I set out. Then all of a sudden, I look around and realise I have no idea where I am. The girl's nowhere to be seen, and people are yelling at me. That girl made a right fool of me.
That's what you get for thinking with your prick.
Oh,
All right then.
Look at that. I think I'll take it. That's mine now.
the offer of Hermes Trismegistos. That's Krazel's document.
You shouldn't be bothering.
Heel!
My respects.
What? You're covered in blood, my friend.
I have that document from the rat house for you.
Excellent. I knew I could count on you.
Judging by the contents, it seems like you're dabbling in alchemy here at the mill.
That's not a bad guess. But don't forget about astrology, theurgy, transmutation, and a smidgen of demonology. Although that's something anyone with a grain of sense should avoid. Now show it to me, so I can finally get the knowledge. Good. Good. This will come in handy. Ah, yes. Of course.
What now?
That much? We're going to need more. A lot more.
Did you hear me? What now?
Sorry. I got lost in thought. I owe you my thanks as well as reward for getting me the document. And maybe another little job? What do you say?
Wait a moment. Supposing you first initiate me into the mysteries of your enchanting mill. This isn't any run-of-the-mill business, so to speak. I smell something devilish here.
Devilish? Not at all. You guessed it. It's nothing less than high learning. Alchemy! And when I say alchemy, I mean real alchemy. Not some hocus-pocus brewing of potions for creaky joints and bellyache.
Tell me more about it, then. Maybe I'll learn something useful.
I suppose. You are my apprentice, after all. You deserve to know what all of this is leading to. Now, pay close attention. I want to make a golem out of dough. Then, using secret alchemical practices and theurgy, bring him to life.
A golem, you say? That's a helper made of clay, which they say the Jewish scholars brought to life using the words of God's secret name?
Well, well. Seems that head of yours isn't just for ornament after all.
Good one. But now, seriously.
I'm deadly serious, Henry. One shouldn't joke about such matters. Studying the Jewish Kabbals taught me a practice known as Maseh Bereshit. A mystic can use it to imitate the work of God. Just imagine. You know how helpful a golem would be at the mill? Carrying sacks, pulling wagons, standing guard. He wouldn't be much smarter than Zinnik, but he'd have the strength of 10 men.
You're trying to play God? You know they could burn you at the stake for something like that. It's witchcraft.
Ah, horseshit. It's in the interest of the advancement and prosperity of mankind. Just look at the Bible. Moses could command the waters and speak to God through the element of fire. And Jesus brought the dead back to life. I've no doubt that if our great holy Mother Church had been around at the time, they'd have crucified Jesus the same as the Pharisees. And all the apostles would have been burned at the stake.
So a golem, you say, made of flour? For the good of mankind?
Exactly.
And what about the good of me? You promised me a reward.
You already know that you can learn the practical application of certain useful skills from me. But for a few groschen, we could discuss the art on a more, let's say, theoretical level.
I'm overwhelmed with gratitude. Supposing you give me a few groschen first, as a reward for bringing you the document, and then I'll decide whether to trade the coin for some learning.
Oh, see now, I completely forgot. Here you go. So you don't go around saying that Miller Crazel is a pinch purse. I added in what I owe for those sacks you carried. And if you want some more work, there's plenty.
What's this next job all about?
I need to find a saltpeter pit.
Never a wasted word, eh, Crazel?
Short and to the point. That's my credo.
And how long will it take before you tell me what a saltpeter pit is?
A saltpeter pit is a pit in which saltpeter is formed.
Saltpeter is nitre. That I know. They're white crystals similar to salt. But I have no idea what you might need it for here at the mill.
The Kabbalistic doctrine speaks of saltpeter as a vessel for the inexhaustible essence of life. Those white crystals are said to contain the very essence of being. That's precisely what we need to give life to our golem. Thanks to the ingredients from Hermes Trismegistos, his feet will never get tired and his fists will have the power to smash rocks. But saltpeter is the most important thing. Saltpeter will be the golem's heart.
I haven't heard such nonsense for a long time. A golem made of flour that can smash rocks, and then this saltpeter on top of everything. I think you want to add weight to your flour, and you're just trying to fool me with clever talk.
Why would I add weight to flour with such a rare commodity? You genius. If you don't want to believe in the golem, then don't. But I need that saltpeter, and I need a lot of it. That's why I want you to find me a decent saltpeter pit. Do you understand?
I was hoping I'd learn something useful from you. But instead, you're making me wander around the countryside looking for some pit.
Well, you never know when an experience like that might come in handy.
Wander in the countryside looking for some pit? Sounds to me like a waste of time. Maybe later.
What do you mean later? I need to find the pit now, understand? Take care, and good night.
What about that salt?
They haven't. We've got our hands full with other That's why I hope you...
All right then, I just hope you know where to look.
Bonnie has a lead. She's a damned handy girl to have her. But for you, the most important thing is that she knows how to look for Niter. Or...
So this Bonnie, she's a dowser or something?
Bonnie is someone I trust without question. Not only will she teach you how to find saltpeter, the main difference is it has kind of...
Hold your horses.
If you don't taste it, you could confuse it with some nasty rot. Don't be such a lily liver, Henry. If Bonnie can taste, she'll tell you the rest herself. That's a secret storage space I have here just by...
How can I get...
There's a bridge over the mill stream towards the... From that path, you turn right. Oh, and so I don't forget. You could pick some... She's just been through some tough times. On the other hand, Zedek might be...
Well, I haven't spoken to Zinek yet.
Right along.
To the lair.
Take care, friend.
Quick! Whoa. Go! Whoa.
Lord be with you.
I'm Henry, Miller Crazel's new apprentice. He sent me to search for a niter pit and said you might be able to help me with that.
Of course I will.
Bonnie? It's not a name I hear.
It's not the name I was baptized with. In our craft, it ain't a good idea to tell. What should we call you?
The poet.
Well, that's not very creative. You know what? I'll come up with a nickname for you myself when I get to know you better. Did you bring me something from the mill?
Actually, Crazel said you'd appreciate some herbs.
He's right there. Do you have some for me?
I'm sorry. I've got nothing for you.
I reckon I'll just have to scrape together the ingredients for that magic ritual myself.
What kind of magic ritual?
The kind where Zenek finally gets some sense into his head and stops making stupid beginner's mistakes. Just so you know, that mess with the author of Hermes Trismegistos, would never have happened to me. Not me. While we're on the subject of rituals, did Crazel tell you about the golem?
He did.
And what do you think of it?
But I think it's all a load of shit. Just some hocus-pocus to cover up shameless robbery.
Well now, so you're a bailiff's man and you're on our trail?
No. It's just I'm not as naive as you seem to think.
Look out! Behind you!
What?
Just testing how alert you are. You know, if a golem punches you, you won't get up again. Whether you're naive or not. But that's enough of that. We're not going to stand here talking about flower golems when we've barely just met. I'd like to chat with you too, Henry. Get to know you a bit. But if you're in a hurry to find Crazel's saltpeter, I won't keep you.
No. I have plenty of time. But where to start?
You know what? I'll start. When they caught Cicaxk in Troskovitz, I was scared out of my mind that they'd catch me and clap me in the stocks. I had to hide out here for a while, so I haven't had anyone to talk to. Life in the lair isn't all fun and games. Cicaxk and all the other mill knuckleheads were never worth much as company. So I'm glad the miller's finally found a normal hand for once. You've got a beautiful dog. What's his name?
Mutt.
What a cute fella. How did you find each other?
Among the wolves. Not a word of a lie. That is, I lost him and then found him again in a wolf pack.
Well, that's what I call an interesting past. I used to have a dog, but I don't anymore.
He died.
He started getting these lumps all over his body. He stopped eating, just slept all the time. And then, well, what's done is done. And what about you? What kind of family are you from? Also, thieves?
The very same. When did you steal your first apple?
Before I could even walk. But it wasn't an apple. It was a silver groschen from my godmother.
And you got away with it?
I did indeed. Nobody saw me, not then, not any time since. It came in handy in the convent too. Slipping out of a boring sermon unnoticed, that's what I'm good at. And it don't matter who's preaching, whether it's a priest, an abbot, or Crazel. What do you think of the old miller, anyway?
I don't know what to say to that. I still don't know him all that well.
I understand. Best not to bite the hand that feeds you for no good reason. Thanks for talking to me. It really is good to have someone to pour my heart out to. But now, about that saltpeter. Before you came, and before Cicaxk fucked up with the manuscript, we collected saltpeter all over the place, mainly in sties. It has to be scraped from the walls. Horrible work, time-consuming and annoying. I'm not going to lie to you. We also looked in a few chests, just in case, you know. Anyhow, now all the sties in the region are scraped clean and we're sitting pretty on a nice barrel of saltpeter.
Barrel is quite a lot.
For the whole Trotsky region, aye. Unfortunately, Crazel said we need at least 6 times as much.
6 times? Will one saltpeter pit be enough?
I reckon so. There should be as much as Crazel needs for his masterwork. If you're looking for it, you ought to know how saltpeter forms. Do you have any idea?
Certainly. You take a damp wall, like in a sty, you let the water evaporate from it, and you get this salty bloom.
That's right. But like I told you, all the sty walls in the region are scraped clean and we can't wait. Don't forget that saltpeter crystals are formed in places where something is rotting. It can be shit or carcasses. Well, a saltpeter pit is actually nothing more than a mass grave. The best natural saltpeter maker.
Crazel said saltpeter is a vessel for life energy. I get it that it's left over from dead bodies, but how do you get it from shit?
God's mysterious ways. You know how it is.
And he also wanted me to taste it. That's nonsense, though, isn't it?
Unfortunately, it isn't. Otherwise, you won't know if it's saltpeter or some other shit. It feels kind of cold on the tongue.
Jesus. And you know where to look for such a pit full of carcasses, do you?
Not exactly, but I have an idea. Times are evil and there's plenty of corpses. A person who's digging holes and throwing dead bodies into them and doesn't even know he's got a a saltpeter mine.
The local gravedigger?
Exactly. And the one we have here in the region is also the knacker.
Well, I haven't met him yet. Where can I find him?
The cemetery is beyond Troskovitz, towards the Apollonia Rocks.
So I'm in for a walk to the cemetery.
Seems like it. Too bad you couldn't have walked around the county with us before. It was fun. And pretty useful experience. I learned a lot during that time, and I won't keep it to myself.
I'll keep that in mind.
That old gravedigger will be suspicious, so he's always dragging those carcasses, so I'm sure...
Good idea.
He lives a short way from the cemetery, so at least the meat won't go bad on the way. Lots of luck, the poet.
I'd like to learn...
What are you in? See you later, my friend.
This horse must have cost a pretty groschen.
Quick! Yeah! Go! Quick! Oh,
May God...
You must be the local gravedigger.
Ignatius. Looking for a final resting place?
None of that. Bonnie from Lower Semine sent me.
From Lower Semine?
A saltpeter pit.
I ain't never heard of nothing like that.
Yeah, something like that. At night, you hear the cries of tormented souls.
Well, that I can't help.
Not to worry. It's actually just these white crystals for a minute.
You should have said you're looking for the pit I throw carcasses into. What's all this about salty Peter? I'm going to go there anyway, so I'll take...
Really?
Not even a chicken scratches in the dirt without hope of reward, though. I have some collections from some Slatigo farmsteads. At least one day I can take it a bit easy.
You want me to help you with your grave digging bit?
Why not? You look...
I have a better idea.
I won't say no. Oh, aye, fresh meat. What a feast that'll make. Now, listen closely. That pit of yours lies at the end of a long journey that we'll take together on my wagon.
So you got meat out of it?
When I see how much you lot in Lower Samine are interested in it, I'm not just going to hand it to you, but thanks for the meat. And grave digging is a job like any other, and if it wasn't for us knackers...
Of course. I'm just a little worried about what people will say. I wouldn't like to lose the honour I've earned as squire to a nobleman.
Don't worry about what people say. They'll only strip you of your honour if you let them. So what then? Shall we take a nice and early?
Let's get this over with then.
The dew is still on the leaves. The roads are clear. You don't need your horse. I'll stable him here. In any case, heaven, hop on the wagon and snort her and drag... Did I bring that stuff for bite? Aesop? Got it all. Good. We've got a long journey ahead of us, so get yourself comfortable so your arse won't hurt. So, you say you're from Lower Samine, eh?
Well, you could say that. I help the miller with whatever I can. I got a place to sleep there. Soon I'll be able to call the miller uncle.
I remember Crazel when he was still a wee lad. Even then he was a great big smart-ass. When I buried his parents, he was traipsing somewhere through the world. Maybe you heard what they say about Lower Samine round these parts. Crazel don't sell short measure, not that. He looks out for his reputation, but his helpers have been seen often in the villages after dark, looking fishy. Or during the day, in the pillories. Don't that Bonnie of yours belong to that gang too?
Unfortunately, she does. Crazel ordered Bonnie and her accomplice Zinek to scrape saltpeter off the walls of the sties. And when they had a chance to loiter about in the yards here in the region, well, they made good use of the opportunity to line their purses.
Ay, ay, ay. What have I gotten myself into in my twilight years? Lower Samine's a thorn in the side for a lot of folk. Some on account of the competition. Some is just rubbed up the wrong way by that Crazel. Either way, all they need's the slightest excuse to grab their pitchforks, go and grab the miller and shove his face right in his own millstone. Yeah! Yeah! Whoa, boys! Whoa! Come on! Come on! Are you deaf? Oh, they're acting stubborn again. Now listen, Henry. Here on the left side, you'll see the ruins of a cottage that's been abandoned for a few years.
I can't see a thing through those bushes.
You'll go and have a close look. Don't worry. I have a trap set inside the cottage. I wanted to lure a wolf into it, but that didn't work out. There's a deer rotting there unnecessarily. So hop in there and bring it to the wagon. Yeah! Yeah! Finally. At least we're not blocking the road too much.
Ah! Ah! What is it, Matt? Oh, Jesus, what a stench. Better quickly throw it in a sack and take it back to the wagon.
Get over here!
Is that supposed to be a threat?
That's right. Get over here! Now!
I'm coming.
Move it!
What's going on, Ignatius?
Ah, I'm trying to explain to these fellas we've got nothing to do with no thieving around here. They should go to Lower Samine to complain.
2 stinking pieces of shit was sneaking around our sties and cellars and lining their purses with silver too while they was at it. Some scruffy and dunger. You must be scruffy, eh?
I'm Henry, and those, names mean nothing to me.
Like I said, if it's rotten carrion they're after, they should have come to me. A passion for knacking is the only thing we have in common.
Is that so? So prove it then.
Take a good look at me. Do I look like a thief? Or more like a commonplace, maybe just slightly grubby, hired hand? At this rate, you can blame any old peasant who's grimy after a hard day's work.
I don't know. I don't reckon I've ever seen a real thief up close.
Ask around about me and you'll find out everyone knows I can't stand a liar. I'll keep my promises and show up on time. So enough talk and let's carry on to where duty calls us.
All right, listen. We'll be going then. But if you happen to run into them 2 thieves, you tell us right away. Got it?
Of course.
You can count on it.
Glad to hear it. Let's go, fellas. Maybe... Did I get this right? Maybe it was the one with that shape.
I suppose we can carry on then, eh?
Don't forget that carcass. After all...
Yeah, you're right. Suppose we...
Don't forget that...
Yeah, you're right. Jesus, what a stench. Better quickly throw it in a sack and take it back to the wagon. What is it, Mutt?
Haven't you and your lot stolen enough already?
What do you mean already? This fella's wicked.
Hey! Drop that right now and get over here!
What's going on?
They should
Two sums
I'm Henry.
like us. A passion.
Take a... Do I look at this right?
I don't.
Ask around, so enough.
We'll...
Of course.
You can...
Lads, let's go. Maybe...
Do you want...
Not much left.
Hopefully, the next farm's just up ahead. Don't worry. That was just a kind of little favour for me. Now we'll help the locals here in HDR with their carcasses.
Couldn't you do that dirty work yourself?
And what good would you be to me then? To tell me jokes? Yesterday, the good wife from that farm came and told me both their pigs died. So we'll scoop them up and haul them off. I mean, you'll scoop them up and haul them to my cart. She says it was a curse. There was a flash of lightning, the pigs started trembling, squealing and puking, and then keeled over and dropped dead.
And then Satan himself appeared in the sky. Happens all the time.
It ain't my first day doing this job, so I could see right off them pigs had been poisoned. The good wife swore them pigs were happy as, well, pigs in shit. She said they even let them go to a nearby stream to have a wallow. It flows here through the forest on the right. Since we're here, you ought to go and take a look around there. Check how clear that spring really is.
Nah, not a chance. I'll carry those pigs, but that's where it ends.
Well, now, ain't you a mouthy helper? Suit yourself, then. Yeah! Yeah!
Jesus. This is disgusting.
But make sure you take care of it, yeah? I can't bear it much longer.
You ain't the only one. It's been bothering the Nabokov folks, too. That'll all be over today.
God reward you for it.
God don't reward me much, but I'll probably get something from the bailiff for hauling.
Well, I wish you and your helper lots of luck today. May God bless you.
You too. You too.
Jesus, this is disgusting.
Bloody hell.
What now?
I took care of the carcasses. We can drive on.
And what about this mysterious curse?
I'm not in the mood to deal with it.
Making sure you don't work any more than you have to, eh? Let's go then. Hop on. We have one more stop before the grand revelation of unimaginable saltpeter treasure. Lads, seeing as how you don't obey me, you're surely horsing around today. So far it ain't that bad, eh? You don't have to take down no hanged man or bury an unbaptized child.
Ever since I started working for the miller, all I do is carry bloody sacks. I must have carried more than they could fill in skallets in a day.
It can always be worse. Someone might ask you to roll barrels. Now listen to me closely. You won't be carrying anything at the next farmstead. Instead, you'll have to make one carcass there. See, the work of a knacker ain't just about clearing away dead animals. Now and then, you've got to put down some creature, so it don't suffer. Or, like today, to put it down so everyone around it don't have to suffer. In this case, we're talking about a dog.
I'm sorry, Ignatius, my friend. You can't expect me to do that.
In that case, as soon as we get where we're going, you can just get off the wagon and go and look for that pitch yourself. If you don't do what I tell you, you're useless to me. So I'll be useless to you too.
Maybe there's another way. I'll try to come up with something.
Ha! That cur belongs to the greengrocer, Vizar. I've heard they're both pretty fierce. Don't draw too much attention to yourself at the farmstead. I'll give you some Aesop potion to drink first, and some meat and bane. Soak the meat with the poison and throw it to the dog. He'll probably be locked in a pen somewhere. As soon as it's done, we'll disappear before anyone notices anything. I got paid well for it from the neighbors, so don't fuck it up for me. Lazy bones.
You're always welcome here, noble sir.
Sakra! The dog isn't here. The door's open. Where did he run off to? Barking. He's coming from over there.
Henry, how come you're here?
Bonnie? What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
The gravedigger wants me to poison that dog.
Jesus! And are you going to do it?
Well, what else can I do? You're the one who sent me to Ignatius. You just tactfully neglected to mention that when you and Cicaxk were acting as his hands, you robbed half the houses in the county.
Shit. It's all gone sour.
This is all I have left to do before he takes me to the saltpeter pit.
And couldn't you find the pit without that? Just take a look at that poor creature. I'd like to keep him in place of my poor dead sniffer.
You surely know how to pick 'em. Your poor creature is terrorizing the whole area.
It's not the animal's fault. When Cicaxk and I were here last, I saw how old Visaric treats him. He doesn't give him food, he abuses him. With a master like that, he won't last long. You wouldn't kill a dumb creature just because its master is a sick horseman, would you?
Well, you don't have to convince me. Ever since the gravedigger told me to do it, I've been trying to figure out how to save that dog. If you want to take him, I won't stop you.
You're a much better Christian than I thought you were. I'll take him to the lair. We'll meet there.
Hurry off now, before someone sees us together.
Come on now, boy. You'll like it in the lair. Oh, you mutt.
It's taken care of.
Taken care of? What do you mean?
The dog is dead. So, can we go to the pit now?
Dead, eh? And what are you so nervous about?
Well, it wasn't pleasant to watch. I did it exactly how you told me. I poisoned him.
Oh, aye? And how did it go exactly?
Well, I dipped the meat in poison. He ate it, and peacefully departed to doggy heaven.
So, it all went how it should. I use a real strong mixture so the creatures don't suffer too much. He's done for, the beast. Finally. Let's go before we start looking suspicious.
So this is it. This is the pit.
Slowly, boy, slowly. Have a bit of respect. Death always deserves respect, whether it's people or animals.
I was expecting some huge hole in the ground. This is just some hollow. 3 piles of earth and that's it.
3 huge piles, you mean to say? True, it used to be one big pit. But then I found out when you pile up carcasses in smaller pits and throw some wet hay between them, it all rots better. And the better it rots, the more nitre you'll have. Are you going to take some right away?
I won't. The miller will probably send some people here.
Well, they'd better not dig it all up. That'd disturb the natural balance, see? And soon they'll find out there's no place to find saltpeter.
Well, I reckon I'm delaying the inevitable. I'll still have to taste it.
You're going to taste it?
It's the only way I can be certain it really is saltpeter.
God's nails. And they say I'm disgusting. Wait a moment. I can't say I'm all that satisfied with your help, but I don't want you to think old Ignatius is an ungrateful bastard, so I have something here for you. Although, to tell the truth, you didn't much grow on me.
Likewise. In fact, I've been acting like a prick all this time, just so you'd feel like you're dealing with an equal.
I'm starting to regret promising you a reward, but I ain't going back on my word. Even a prick like me knows how to keep a promise. Here's something that'll definitely come in handy if you ever need to go through all this again. Either with me or somewhere else.
Thanks.
Taste it then. Get to it. This I have got to see. You didn't have to make such a feast of
it. Look at me. I'm a lord's messenger to a taster of cadavers. Cold and salty. This must be it.
Leave me alone. I ain't gonna talk to the
I apologize. I'm really sorry. It won't happen again.
Very well then, but I'll be keeping my eye on you.
If you're going back to your cottage, I'd like to take a ride with you.
Remember how I told you I didn't like you? Well, that still goes. Have a nice walk, stretch your legs. Get away with that weapon. Ah! 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 Leave me alone. I ain't gonna talk.
Look, let's just forget this happened before it gets any worse.
You think I'm afraid of you? Leave me alone.
I'm sorry. I'll gladly pay for the damages.
All right. But I'll be keeping my eye on you.
If you're going back to your cottage...
Remember how I told... Well, that's still go. You right in... Ah! You want to kill me, you fool? Ah! Ah!
Look at me. I'm a lord's messenger to a taster of cadavers. Cold and salty. This must be it.
Horse like.
Who are you?
I thought you would recognize a wayfarer.
Of course I would.
I get it. But seeing as fate has brought, would you care to buy something?
You look well-travelled.
Why, yes, good man. There's plenty going on. You know, I just...
Frog pond?
Well, there's this one lake with frogs all around. Boom! And they got absolute carnage.
But what was the meaning?
That's what the locals can't agree on. Except that it must the peasants say it means the lords are greedy. And then you've got the church telling you it's a warning to the hamburgers to keep...
So no one...
No. And the frogs keep on...
Why not? Here you go. Take it.
You silly doggy.
Whoa!
What? You're covered in blood?
I found the place where we can harvest. You just head out of Troskowitz towards Apollonia, carry on alongside the road, then head off it at the right spot. Only it's not a pit, it's 3 piles of earth. The gravedigger Ignatius drove me there himself.
And is it the real stuff? Did you taste it?
Yeah. And I hope I never have to do that again. Ugh. I think the experience has changed me forever.
Oh, come on. You whine more than Zinnik. It's just commonplace salt. I was hoping it'd be closer. To go all the way to Apollonia. If I send 2 wagons, that should be enough.
What should I do?
That means I could mix a barrel and a half.
Crazul, focus. What else do you need from me?
Oh, sorry. What were you asking? About a reward? It's right here.
Thanks. How's it going with the golem?
Well, the whole thing is really appealing to a scholar of my field of interest and important for humanity. But certain circumstances have emerged which, unfortunately, move its creation somewhere further into the future.
Wait, what do you mean? So there won't be any Gollum?
Not for now.
What about all the Niter? The life essence?
I admitted to myself it's maybe too much to take on, and I decided to go back to my roots.
So the search for saltpeter was for nothing?
Not at all. The saltpeter will help us create primordial matter. The origin. Chaos. Materia prima.
God. Here we go again.
As alchemical scholars, we actually have only one task before us. To penetrate the diaphanum and find out where it gets its disposition and power from. Only then will we understand the nature of the shadows.
Eh?
I'll explain it to you.
Tell me then. So what's the next task, Crazel?
There's a quiet whisper coming from the open gates of Trotsky, carried by the wind all the way here to me. Do you hear it too?
I hear it. Crazel's a loony. Crazel's a loony.
Scribe Erzim received a chest from Prague, and in that chest...
Hermes Trismegistos' document?
No, a book. From an author even more venerable than Hermes. It's thin, with a sand-colored cover, embossed. Ordinary at first glance. But the treasure's inside. You might say it's a kind of alchemist cookbook.
So I'll finally get to experience your transformation of matter firsthand. When they transform my body there into one without hands. I certainly won't be stealing anything from Trotsky.
Did I say anything about stealing? No. When the castle was still closed, I planned to get the book through the castle chamberlain, with the help of a certain woman. But now that you have access to Trotsky yourself, it'll be much simpler.
What about that certain woman? What was your plan?
That's old news. The central figure is now the Trotsky scribe, Erzim. He's a great lover of knowledge. I'm sure he'd be happy to indulge another kindred soul and lend him the book, indefinitely and voluntarily.
Let's hope so. I'll pray I'll be able to convince him, and that I won't have to ride around Trotsky picking up carcasses again. Or worse.
Just do your best. The book is the last piece, but looking back at your two previous... Go and see Erzim and ask him about the book. Best of luck.
I reckon I'll... Nice and slow.
Hey! Your horse nearly trampled me.
Slow down, you idiots! Oh! Mind where you're going.
Whoa! Whoa!
Good to see you.
Greetings, Master Guard.
I'm sorry.
I heard some interesting books from Prague have arrived at the castle. There's one I'd like to borrow. An alchemist's cookbook. A sand-coloured cover, embossed.
Yes, several rare and astonishing books have arrived from Prague. But why are you interested in an alchemist's cookbook, of all things?
I've heard there are some interesting ideas in it. Every alchemist is in dogged pursuit of wisdom, especially those from Prague.
Perhaps you know more about that book than I do. Well, I'll have to disappoint you. Lord Nickvard Libak helped me sort the new books at the time, and the one you're looking for caught his attention. He left with it before I could even discover what it's about. All I remember is the author's initials, B.B. I'm fairly benevolent when it comes to lending books, and I appreciate Nickvard's help, but he's had it borrowed for an excessive amount of time now. I'd like to ask him to return it, but he's been avoiding me.
I'll have a talk with Nickvard and find out what the problem is.
You think I haven't tried? But since you've already offered to address this pressing situation, it seems Nickvard... I've warned him repeatedly not to carry borrowed books around with him, but to leave them in his chamber and read them there. But Nickvard is old and stubborn, and this is how things turn out.
The price of such a book must be incalculable. People like Nickvard are too dumb to understand.
But I digress. As I said, Nickvard is intentionally avoiding me. I've managed to find 3 people who've spoken to him recently.
For a nobleman, Nickvard is quite wary of his own.
I'm surprised that he's ever spoken to any... Nickvard is a loner. Which is all now that he's decided to leave his shell. But I'm afraid that's all I've managed to find out. Since Lord von Berkov's arrival, I've been preoccupied with other matters.
I'll help you. I'll ask all 3 and see if they leave.
Many thanks. If you aren't sure what to do, stop by and we'll
I won't keep you any longer.
God be with you, sir.
Bertha, instead of devils, I need your help now with Nick. The scribe told me you might...
Well, I'm waiting. I brewed him another phial of medicine, but I told him to stop by for another one.
Did he say where he...
I can't say. I promised Lord Libak his secret...
Oh, come now. Nickvard misplaced an important book. I need to find it.
I remember the recipes by heart. And...
Listen, Bertha. Do you realize your stubbornness is making everything more difficult? Nickvard borrows a mysterious book, suddenly he stops talking to the scribe, and falls ill. And when the only person who wants to get to the bottom of it comes to you, you keep mum. You don't want to have Nickvard on your conscience, do you?
I suppose you're right. I reckon Lord Libak would forgive me if he knew I was only trying to help him, right?
I'm sure he would.
Well, it's a common potion for a bellyache. Just better tasting. It helps your meals go. In that regard, Lord Libak had, well, everything came out much...
Nickvard didn't have time to run down the stairs, eh?
It was in the privy down below the crone. But I helped him clean his hose and made him the medicine. And Lord Libak is quite particular about the impression he makes on the young maid. That's why he didn't use the privy near the maids' quarters. though it's closer to his... But this time...
Is that all?
What else is there to say? That the entire time he looked as if he'd done the worst. It happens to the best of us. And I told him as much. I must say, he did look as if the fate of the entire...
I don't know if this is going to do me any good.
Well, you could have...
Thanks anyway. I should eat something.
What are you here for?
I'd like to...
What'll it be then?
I'd like to...
All right.
Let's talk...
Certain. Excellent. Phew. I always get hungry after a fuck like that. I'll go and find something to eat. Good boy. Good boy.
I'm sorry.
Greetings. What brings...
Careful.
Welcome, sir.
Stay close to the others. It's not safe here.
roaming around here for?
I'm not doing anything. You're doing a great job keeping watch.
You'd better believe it.
I'd like to...
Why not? If you are not, I was... But of course, it won't now come and... Good. Good.
You shouldn't be bothering us here.
You better watch out, Marie. Got it?
Go and see the... I'll be happy to help you, friend.
See you next time. Take care.
Take care. God be with you. I'm sorry.
Did you hear about what the bailiff is planning?
No, I don't care.
Be careful. God is punishing us for our sins.
I'm in no mood for nonsense. So no messing about. Got it?
Ah, don't worry. I'm a saint.
You better be.
Greetings.
What are you doing here?
The Lord's path has led me all the way down here. Well, at least I don't have to walk up all those stairs.
What happened?
I just didn't feel safe at Trotsky. The man in charge there, Tot, he scared me, to be frank. He wanted me to bless his armor, his sword even, and then suddenly he falls from the tower. I heard someone may have helped him. Even that odd gravedigger didn't want to bury him. And I just couldn't. Now I'm back in the village with their problems are very different from those.
I'd like to...
What is this? Why are you rummaging around over there, you dirty thief?
I'm sorry.
It happens. Just watch where you're going next time. Greetings, sir. Oh, you mutt.
May God give you help, sir.
How can I help you today?
Nice and slow.
Jesus Christ be
Huh? What?
Lovely view boat the other day for a great...
What good's a bow to you, for God's sake? What a...
Slow down, you idiots!
Easy, easy. Nice and slow. Crone and maiden standing behind the gate. That was in Gable's riddle. Whoa, whoa.
Another senseless death.
You must be Nick Vard, eh? Poor wretch.
It has to be me standing over the body. What a fucking day.
Ugh. It's starting to stink.
How many more times am I gonna have to poke around in corpses and shit for that damn cradle?
Greetings, sir.
God bless.
I have the book for you.
Well, I must admit, I haven't had an apprentice this handy in a long time. Zinnik has nothing on you.
I had a peek inside. The pictures are nice, but what do you want to learn from them?
You'll find out soon enough. Show me that miraculous thing. This really is something. But why is it all covered in shit, for fuck's sake?
But the essence of life from the skies didn't bother you, and now you're squeamish.
Oh, refining saltpeter. Boil wine and alum. Grind. Ah, of course, it makes sense. I'll study the rest on the way. Well, the last chapter of our story of knowledge awaits us. The grand finale.
So what now? Do you have another job for me?
Charcoal. Sulfur from Hermes Trismegistos. Saltpeter from the carcass pit. As long as Black Bertolt didn't make any mistakes in his calculations, we have everything.
What Bertold? Oh, God damn it, Crazer, what's going on here? I'm tired of flying back and forth like a rag on a stick. I won't be led around by the nose. Will you finally tell me what's going on?
Believe it or not, all this secrecy had its reasons. But now I don't have to hide anything from you. It's time. We'll meet with the others in the lair, and there you'll learn the whole truth. You go ahead. I'm going to get a few things ready here.
All right, then. I hope you keep your word this time. Quick! Oh. Go! Whoa, whoa. Quick! Go! Whoa! What'll happen now?
Our last supper, with only one but very filling course, awaits us.
Crazel, please. For once, just once, tell me what's actually going on.
And rob myself of enjoying your blissful ignorance? Not a chance. Tell me yourself, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, hopefully I'll finally find out what the point of all this was.
Or not, until you try another dose of niter.
I wouldn't do that to him. Not today. Bonnie will start today. At least I'll finally see if she understood my teachings. Bonnie?
First of all, I'd like to thank you on behalf of the whole gang for all the work you've done. We could never have finished the job without you. We found 2 new partners, you and Monarch here. It's good to have someone to rely on. So, it's time we started being honest with you, so you can finally learn the whole truth.
Not yet. Let's pull up that uppity bastard's leg a bit longer. That's the fun part!
One more word, Zinek, and you'll get one on the nose.
Calm down, friend. I'm just kidding. Tell him then, Bonnie.
This whole time, you've been collecting ingredients and clues for us. But, so you wouldn't go nosing around, we always told you it was for something different than it actually was.
The miller here calls it tactics.
Tactics, you idiot. And everything worked out according to plan. So today we're finally close to our great success. With the help of Hermes Trismegistos and his successors, we'll finally complete the dream of all alchemists. Our magnum opus.
Exactly, Bonnie.
Magnum opus. A great work of alchemy. You're trying to make the Philosopher's Stone.
I see you've learned something after all. But no, the Philosopher's Stone isn't our goal.
Let's see then, Henry. What is it you think we're making here?
Some kind of weapon?
Well, Henry's not too far from the truth after all, don't you think? Actually, he's pretty spot on. Although weapons were our last order of business. Let's start at the beginning. My father was a miller as well, but I was never much interested in the trade. Even as a young boy, I loved running around Lower Samine and investigating everything living and dead. And I had a lot of questions about everything. Then my mother, God rest her soul, decided it'd be best for me to go to study in Prague.
As soon as I grew up and gained a bit of sense, I packed my bags and left.
So you went to a university in Prague? The son of a miller?
Why not? My father worked his arse off, and he had the coin for it, miller or not. I met a lot of remarkable people at the university, and my thirst for knowledge kept growing. But in the end, it only took a year of all that pretentious, scholarly blathering and hypocritical nonsense for me to realize I wouldn't learn anything proper there. Most of the students and masters are just a bunch of dogmatic fools. They have their own truth, and those who want to know more or ask the wrong questions fall into disfavor, as was my case.
You left your studies?
And I'm glad I did. The most important science is not subject to any religious dogma. And, of course, it's not taught at any university.
You mean alchemy?
Exactly. The art of combination and dissolution. The key to understanding the very nature of the world. There's only one queen of science. Alchemy. I returned to the mill in Lower Samine and started a new life.
What did your parents say when you returned from your studies?
My mother had already passed away. All my father said was, "I knew you'd be back." And he sent me to haul sacks of flour. I think in the end he was glad to have someone to take over the mill from him. From then on, alchemy became my true passion. I brought a few important books from Prague. I started with the most difficult thing. I tried to create gold.
That was pretty daring of you.
As you might expect, it didn't work. But after a few tries, I managed to create something entirely different. Once I tried mixing sulfur, charcoal, and saltpeter. I had a candle burning next to me. A gust of wind scattered the mixture, and all of a sudden, bang! I almost shit myself, I tell you. But then I realized I'd unwittingly created a miracle. Explosive black powder.
So I was right. You're making weapons.
No, it's about much more than that. We're all in on it now.
I couldn't continue my experiments on my own, but Bonnie and Zinnik did a few little jobs for me.
So he initiated us.
But we just still didn't know how to do it right and not blow ourselves up in the process.
And we used up a huge amount of saltpeter and sulfur.
By the way, the manuscript from that Hermes Trismegistos was our shopping list and price list for material from Kuttenberg.
Only we didn't know correct proportions. I looked up a few of my former fellow students and brought it up with them. And we found out that before us, some monk had already made the discovery.
Some fella called Black Bertold. And that he even started writing a book called
Feuerwerkbuch.
We can believe our luck when we found out there's a copy of it right here at Trotsky.
And you know the rest.
It's a discovery that will change history. In the right hands, it can make miracles happen. All it takes is a spark, and a storm of fire will sweep away the old world order. It will wipe out stupidity and ignorance, once and for all.
And what will happen now?
As I said, we're about to have our last supper on our journey to satisfy our hunger for knowledge. A feast of smoke and fire. Black Bertold never finished his book, because he never had enough ingredients for his last great experiment. But now, thanks to you, we do. We can finally finish Bertold's work and finish his book. We'll see with our own eyes what a barrel of black powder can do. I hope you're as excited as I am.
Before we get started, this book, Feuerwerkbuch, what's written in it?
Everything you'd want to know about black powder. How to mix it in the proper ratio. How to store it. How to light it properly. And especially how to use it in warfare. Because that's the most important part, after all.
Do you really need that much saltpeter?
We do. Saltpeter makes up almost 3/4 of the mixture. Not even all the cows in the region could produce enough for us once we really get started with manufacturing.
What is it you're going to do with this powder?
During wartime, like it is now, a flammable and explosive mixture like this has more uses than you can imagine. If we had a few big barrels of the stuff, we could demolish Trotsky if we wanted to. And maybe we will.
All of us here are truly passionate about the idea of a new world. And now it's within our grasp.
What is it you studied at the university?
I was supposed to become a preacher.
That fits you. Maybe you'd even be a good preacher.
Maybe I would. Maybe I wouldn't.
God has a path prepared for each of us. And each of us here decided not to follow it.
I was supposed to be a dyer, but I was too lazy to work 6 days a week and soak my hands in lye.
I was supposed to become a nun, but I didn't want to give up the booze and fellas.
And I've already told you everything. The world is what you make it.
How did a scholar and an alchemist become a thief?
Prague is a big city, and a poor student has no chance of getting a decent place to sleep or even something to eat. Learning to shop with 5 fingers was the first requirement for survival. We're all masters of our own destiny.
I've heard enough. Now I want to see that with my own eyes.
Let's do it then. Bonnie, is everything ready?
Indeed it is. We can get started. Long live the beautiful new world.
Looks like it ain't working.
I'd say it works just fine.
This will change history.
What? I can't hear a thing. But I'd say it works just fine. Black powder, I have to say.
Aye. It's a good thing you didn't... Anyway, I hope the miller gives us a bit of extra coin now things...
In the worst case, you can get...
But... See you soon, my friend.
In due time, Bonnie.
You really led me on about the a golem made of dough, souls inside saltpeter, the secrets of light and...
Not exactly. It's all based on the real I studied the writings of Bonaventura and Dietrich von Frey, but they worked brilliantly as a cover-up.
I reckon I played the fool well, if you thought I was falling for your delusions all along. I worked for Conrad Kieser himself, just so you know. And he never tried anything like that on me.
Kieser? Fancy that. Next time I'll play it safe and stick to the classics like Thomas Aquinas.
So for the last time, Crazel, what now?
I'll do what I promised, and what will most likely be my fate. I'm going to gather together all the knowledge I've acquired and finish Black Berthold's book. I'll finish his opus.
Uh-huh. And what about me?
That's up to you, Henry. You're a free man. Lord Samine has no hold over you, and never did. You know, the inevitability of God's plan takes no interest in people like you and me. We'll always be little people, beneath it all.
That sounds somehow hopeful in a peculiar way, I'd say. Now I'm even happier about the great thing we've accomplished here.
The ideal conclusion, I'd say. Maybe it's time to carry sacks at a different mill. But if you're still interested in learning a bit more, drawing from the well of alchemical knowledge...
I know where to find you.
Indeed.
Black Pap?
Imagine, that monarch of ours is half...
That dog of yours? What does that have to do with the gunpowder magazine?
Just that I was wondering that the explosions didn't bother him at all. At least he won't suffer here. And now I'm not surprised he was so unhappy with that bastard Cicaxk. In any case, you impressed Krazel by figuring out what we're doing here.
His beating around the bush was quite suspicious, and he's lucky he didn't run into someone who would turn him in for witchcraft.
Anyway, you did a damn fine job. You deserve a nickname from me, like I promised. We're going to call you... Sourdough!
Sourdough?
Well, when you came here, you were kind of unrefined, grey, nothing much. But as you gained experience, you rose and rose until you've risen into a companion we need not be ashamed of. Take care then, Sourdough, and come back and visit sometime. You have a kind master, eh, doggy?